Is Donald Trump losing control of the war? He started in the Middle East. In recent days, in this format, we've analyzed Iran's strategy and how the war is spreading across the region. But today, we're going to look at something different. Israel and the United States may not have exactly the same objectives, and Donald Trump could find himself in a difficult position. Hi, this is Hugo. I hope you're doing well. This is today's top story, available on YouTube and as an audio podcast on all platforms on February 28th, when the United States and Israel decided to bomb Iran, their sworn enemy, killing notably Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei, along with many figures close to the regime and hundreds of civilians in an attack considered a violation of international law. It initially seemed like the two countries were fully aligned. But shortly after, when Iran retaliated by striking military, strategic, and civilian infrastructure in several U.S. allied countries in the region, and when it decided to block the Strait of Hormuz, a key route for global oil, more questions began to emerge. Growing tensions between the U.S. and Israel. The tensions mainly concern Israeli strikes that are currently being carried out and are, at least partially and somewhat ambiguously, disapproved of by the United States. For example, 1 week after the war began, Israel carried out several bombings targeting Iranian fuel depots. According to the U.S. news site Axios, citing sources close to the matter, although the U.S. had been informed in advance, they were still surprised by the scale of the operation. One of Trump's advisors even reportedly said that Trump did not appreciate the attack, but a more significant point of tension emerged this week. On Wednesday, Israel bombed South Pars, a massive offshore natural gas field that supplies about 70% of Iran's natural gas consumption. This attack was seen as a major escalation. In response, Iran struck the world's largest liquefied natural gas production facility located in Qatar, causing gas and oil prices to rise, especially in Europe. What's interesting is the double discourse that followed. A few hours after the escalation, Donald Trump posted on his social network, Truth Social, stating that Israel had violently retaliated out of anger. Many media outlets pointed out that such wording is usually used by Trump to criticize enemies, not allies like Israel. Trump also claimed that the United States had no prior knowledge of the attack. This even led Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to say that Israel had acted alone. However, this contradicts several reports from Israeli, American, and international media, including CNN and the Financial Times, which state that the operation had been coordinated in advance with the United States. Strategic differences between the U.S. and Israel. So what's going on? Trump may simply be trying to distance himself publicly from these strikes. That would explain the gap between behind-the-scenes coordination and public criticism. But in reality, this reveals something deeper. While both countries share the goal of weakening Iran's regime, differences are becoming more visible. Israel appears more determined to pursue regime change in Iran. For a long time, Israel has seen Iran as an existential threat. Iran frequently threatens Israel and denies its right to exist. Prime Minister Netanyahu has long aimed to put an end to Iran's Islamic regime. Political context: Israel versus United States. The internal political context is very different in the two countries. In Israel, the war is largely supported by the population. The longer the war lasts, the more it protects Netanyahu politically. It allows him to delay elections that could be unfavorable. His coalition depends on far-right ministers who strongly support the war. He is also facing corruption trials that are currently postponed because of the conflict. In short, Netanyahu has strong personal and political incentives to continue the war. Trump's political risks. In contrast, Donald Trump may want to exit the war quickly. Why? Rising oil prices affect Americans' purchasing power. The longer the war lasts, the more expensive it becomes. U.S. allies, especially Gulf countries, hosting American bases, are being targeted. The war may become unpopular, even within Trump's own political camp. Trump campaigned on the slogan "America First" and has long criticized endless wars in the Middle East. Now he risks being trapped in exactly that situation. Moreover, unlike Netanyahu, Trump cannot delay elections. The upcoming midterm elections are crucial and could cost him politically. According to the Wall Street Journal, his advisors have already urged him to prepare for a quick exit strategy, a war that may be slipping out of control. Trump has announced on Truth Social that he wants to gradually reduce U.S. operations in the Middle East against Iran. But here's the key issue. Even if the U.S. withdraws, will the war, will the war actually end? Many experts believe the conflict may already be slipping out of Trump's control. These humanitarian consequences. The consequences are devastating. Nearly 1,500 people killed in Iran, 18 in Israel, 21 in Gulf countries. Over 1,000 killed in Lebanon, more than 1 million displaced in Lebanon. Additional updates. Israel has launched new airstrikes on Beirut, targeting Hezbollah, following attacks carried out by the group in retaliation. The U.S. and Israel also bombed Iran's Natanz nuclear facility, though no radiation leak has been reported. Meanwhile, the war is affecting global geopolitics, including delaying negotiations between Ukraine and Russia. Conclusion. Despite differing strategies and political pressures, one thing is certain. This war is expanding, and its consequences, both political and humanitarian, are massive. We'll continue to analyze this situation in the coming days. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. See you soon.